doing here because of this. This is one of the most insidious documents I've read in my life. Two reasons in particular I'm going to come on to. But we need to protect children in schools from what's in this document that's coming. There's a dangerous virus going around in schools that's harming young people. And it's not coronavirus, it's transgender ideology. And the way they're catching it, they're not catching it from each other, it's being injected into them by the teachers. It's from teachers. The government tells the teachers to pass this virus on to the children, and it harms them. It's going to wreck lives, it's going to break up families, it's just going to have terrible consequences, but it's coming from the top. It's coming from the government. Now, if kids have gender confusion, what normally happens if they're left to their own devices, 70, 80, 90%, they just grow out of it. It's just a phase they go through. But oh no, the Scottish government's got a different plan. They don't want it to just be a phase. They want the young people to be open to commit to change their name, to even then go on to have puberty blockers. So puberty, the thing that solves the problem, they want to stop it solving the problem, so the problem becomes permanent. How twisted can you get? Well, that's the government's policy. Remember the named person scheme? The SNP thought that every child needs someone to be responsible for their well-being, to be at the centre of decision making, to really coordinate the care. But the only thing they got wrong was they got the wrong person for the job. They thought the person for the job was a teacher or a social worker or whatever. The person for the job, they're called mum and dad. We've got one thing to say today. We want to say to the Scottish Government that is the role of parents. Parents are not bungling amateurs. We don't know what they do. They need the experts, the professionals, to really look after the children. No. Parents should be at the centre of looking after children. I mean, this document tells teachers that parents like us, with the views we've got, it says basically we're a danger to children. If children hear from us, they're probably going to run away from home or commit suicide or something like that. Blackmail, it's absolute rubbish. The research is based on, it's from like 10 years ago in Canada with a handful of people who got their pals to help them fill in the form in. It's absolute trash. But in here, the Scottish Parliament, that's all it takes to get the MSPs on board. So what do they do in Scottish schools? So a pupil comes and says, I'm a boy, but I want to be a girl from now on. So the teacher says, okay, that's great. What name do you want? Do you want us to call you she? Then they say, do you want us to keep it secret from your parents? And so if they say yes, now, so then what's going to happen now? 1,000 pupils in the school now. 100 teachers in the school now. So all the pupils go home and tell their mums and dads. So all the other mums and dads in the school know. There's only one pair of people who don't know in this whole business, and that's the parents. Is that going to work? Sure, what about when the kids come to play? What about when the parents speak to the other parents? And they say, oh, I hear your son's a girl now. What? They never told me. But this is a disaster waiting to happen. It's not waiting to happen. It's already happening in a school near you. You ask a teacher in a secondary school, say how many children in your school have changed gender or are transitioning. When I was talking to a teacher the other week, they said a week doesn't go by without the staff getting an email that yet another child has been led down this path. It's going to be so destructive to them in the long term. Now this place here, the Scottish Parliament, this is where madness meets weakness. Okay, the madness... The madness is that a young child can decide that they're not a boy anymore, they're a girl, and if they decide that, then they've discovered the truth. They're not confused, they've discovered the truth. That's the madness. When it gets to the Scottish Parliament, I don't know, half of them probably agree with it, half of them probably don't care. But the main thing is that they're scared to say. For example, let's think about, say, the Conservative Party. Now they might think, You know, we could say this is the wrong message. Children shouldn't be taught this in schools. But they'd be called transphobic. So they have to choose. They have to choose. You choose protect children and be called transphobic, or choose children. Don't bother about those. Who cares about them? But you don't get called transphobic. Which one do you choose? In this place here, they choose to not protect the children and just have an easy life on it. Right, just going to finish off very quickly. This is a critical issue. If this is not the central political debate at the moment, what is? In the Parliament there, it's not. They're not that interested in it. We've got to put it on the agenda through the political system. Now, I'd just like to finish reminding you of a little story that you'll have heard long ago. The Emperor's new clothes. Remember? The Emperor had his new clothes, he was very proud of them, and he walked down the street and everyone was saying, oh, they're fantastic. Thank you. Oh, they're fantastic, lovely new outfit. It looks absolutely great. But he actually wasn't wearing anything. And what did it take? Eventually it took one boy, if I remember rightly from my childhood, it took one boy in the crowd to say, hang on a minute, he's not wearing any clothes. As soon as he said it, all the others said, well, okay, yeah, he hasn't, does he? And the spell was broken. And that's our job, that's your job, that's what you've helped to do by being here today. So what you've done your bit towards breaking the spell and saving our children, protecting our children from the terrible damage the government is intent on inflicting on them. If there's a bin nearby, I would stuff this in it as a final gift. Thanks,
Where's the BBC?
This is so important that you're here today.
Yay!
This is not just a side issue.
No.
This is not just a small problem. This is an attack on children, on the family. We have politicians in this Parliament with the audacity to think that they can parent the children of this generation better than actual parents can. Teaching our schools is nonsense. It is unscientific, it is not evidence-based, and it is destroying the lives of our future generation. We cannot be silent. We cannot let them run roughshod over our children. We cannot let them have their sick agenda in our schools. We have to be strong. We have to continue to stand for truth. Because let me tell you, it is going to become harder and harder to stand for truth.